purpose is to make money, you'll never make everything you can.
You used a magic phrase when you say like the theory of preeminence. The last two words to me are for life. And it's a very different way of looking at a client relationship because like you said, most people in this transactional space are just looking at, like you said, up until the purchase and then after that. And you see this sometimes. I see this when companies have big sales forces where they literally sometimes they sell their thing and then you can't even reach anybody at the company like after the transaction has taken place. And if you're thinking about that as a client for life, the opposite is true. You like, I call it, my version of this in our agency space is I call it welcome aboard rather than, like, because a lot of clients in our space, they refer to people as how can I onboard them, which in digital marketing agency means lingo speak means like, how can I get their passwords and logins so I can start running the ads and go do my thing? And I think there's a step you mentioned, and I think the jeweler example illustrates that is we don't want to just put the shittiest packaging on it and get them through the door as fast as possible, but we want to like really acknowledge the leap of faith that has taken place and how much it means to us and how much we're going to support that relationship and how this is the beginning of something great, not, and it comes down to those two words for life. I wonder where you really like, if there's a place you first picked this up or mentors, because you've really pioneered this in the business space of just.
Yeah, well, I mean, I learned from masters. I mean, it's optimization, really, highest and best use. If you understand that one approach is a static one-time transaction, and with the right purpose-driven commitment to your audience, you turn one shot into forever, and doesn't matter what you sell now. If you're the most trusted advisor for life, they will trust you to advise them on lots of other things within and outside of the purview of the mere category you sell to them, if you earn or deserve and maintain that trust. It's very, trust is, and if people don't study soft skills, people like Stephen M.R. Covey, the son of the late Stephen R. Covey, and young people probably don't even know what 7 habits are, but he's the world authority on trust building on steroids, and he's proven that if you command absolute trust in your business, your salespeople, your whatever, the impact is an extra 300% potential enhancement in what you're doing. There's all kinds of things, but it all stems from what's your purpose. If your purpose is to make money, you'll never make everything you can. If your purpose is to make a difference in somebody's life or situation, and that is first and foremost what you are focused on. And I believe I'm having another ADD moment. I mean, in my opinion, Frankie and everybody, you are rewarded in life in direct proportion to the quantity, quality, and consistency of problems you solve and opportunities you make possible for others. Others can be people who spend money with you. Others can be people who work for you. Others can be suppliers who provide to you. The more you understand that, first of all, the more liberating the whole concept of business is, because it's more enjoyable, satisfying, fun, humanistic, connective, and the more reward you get, so the more profitable it becomes as well.
Yeah. Well said, my friend. Actually, if you got a little bit more time, I don't know how long we can keep you here.
I miss it. I can go for maybe, let me just double check, because let me see where my phone is. I got to see. I got another client, but let me see one.
Yeah, we really appreciate this, Jay. I mean, your mind is legendary. I actually was talking to Brian before you got on, and just about, I know how hard your team works to implement your crazy.
Brian, why don't you get on right now on the conference bridge and tell Jason that he needs to call me in 15 minutes on my cell, and I can give you 10 or 15 minutes. Okay.
Love it.
I will do that. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Go ahead, Frankie.
Love it. So I was thinking about something you said earlier, because I know something that's really top of mind for our people is they're out there, they're running a lot of paid advertising campaigns for clients, and they're seeing this rising ad cost. And one of the things you talked about, I call this concept dinner in a show, which is the idea that if you think about like what somebody does before and after, there's always other like related purchases that go together. And if you sell shows, sometimes the cost of running paid advertising shows can be astronomical. But yet, if you advertise that same thing to people who are out buying dinner at that moment, sometimes it's fractions of a penny compared to what that same traffic would cost you. And it really comes down to
very brilliant. Yeah. So remember I said, what do people buy before, during, after, instead?
yeah.
So let's go to before. So if you see that, I mean, I've done this with people who sell things on Amazon. I said, okay, look at the correlation. People buy this, buy these other things. If some of these other things are inexpensive and yours is more expensive, why don't you take those other things and start selling those at really inexpensive and be the leader in low price, so you get all the buyers for that and you have a preemptive access to the market. But we've done, every time we find, okay, people who buy this are going to buy this category first. So why don't you own this category so you have access to that ahead of everybody else? And if this just broke even, then your cost of this is zero.
Yeah.